Welcome to one and all. My name is Shashank from Planet, the designated session assistant for a seamless experience, and Planet is India's most trusted and widely used digitech platform with multiple enriching services exclusive for doctors. Planet is very proud to be a digital partner for this event organized by Indian Medical Association Medical Student Network. And topic of today's session is air pollution and climate crisis. Time for us doctor to take charge. Let's begin today's session, for which I would like to invite Dr. Indranil Deshmukh. Sir, kindly take over this session.
Thank you so much, Shashank. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Indranil Deshmukh, and I am the National Council member of IMA Junior Doctors Network. A very warm welcome on behalf of IMA JDN, MSN, and Lung Cancer Foundation. Today with us, we have the National Chairman of MSM, Dr. Shalabh Gupta, sir, under whose leadership we have planned this event. Also, National Chairman of IMA JDN, Dr. Abul Hassan, sir, who allowed us to collaborate this event with the Junior Doctors Network. And I want to express my gratitude to the chief guest for today's event, Dr. Arvind Kumar, sir, and Dr. Rajiv Khurana, sir, who are also the speakers for today's event. We feel really privileged to have such a successful personalities today with us. And I will also take this opportunity to thank Dr. Akshay Yadav, the national convener of IMA MSN, and the Lung Care Foundation for giving me this opportunity to organize this event. Before starting the event, I would like to introduce Dr. Gautami Chaudhary. Dr. Gautami is the National Council member of JDN Maharashtra, and she is also the postgraduate resident at Tata Memorial Hospital. Today, she will be hosting this event. So by not wasting much time, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Gautami. Over to you, Dr. Gautami.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin our webinar, I would like to request Dr. Abul Hassan, sir, the National Chairman for IMA Junior Doctors Network, to please address the audience. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gautami, and good evening, all of you. My dear friend Indranil, Dr. Shalabh Gupta, my colleague, and today's speakers, Dr. Arvind Kumar and Dr. Rajiv Khurana. Thank you all for joining and also doing this webinar for the benefit of our young doctors of our country. I am very happy that our boys are continuously doing this academic activity, and also I am doubly happy that they chose this topic, which is very timely and is very, very demanding. In fact, after hearing from Indranil, I would like to inform you that I am taking over as the president of IMA Tamil Nadu State. So I was, immediately, thinking about forming the environmental pollution committee from our medical association, Indian Medical Association. So I formed a committee to address this. And, we all aware that it is very, very important the years to come that this will take, main stage. That means disease caused by pollution. And we are seeing the effects of pollution in Chennai, Delhi, in other cities of India also. And, as I said, in the coming decades, we have to deal with this kind of problems. Maybe it become a kind of a pandemic due to pollution. So I'm very happy that we have taken this particular topic about with the collaboration of Lung Care Foundation about air pollution and its impact on the society. And I wish all the delegates who joined today's webinar have a very useful day, useful messages coming out of this seminar, and thank the organizers for arranging this wonderful evening CME program. And thank the organizers for the wonderful opportunity also. And I wish some of you could make it to my function on this thing, December 9th. And also wish that we will do a kind of a more specialized activities like the one we are having today in the Tamil Nadu also. physical meeting also, and webinars also we will plan. And I thank Gautami and Indranil for arranging this webinar. Over to you, Dr. Gautami. Thank you for the opportunity once again.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request Dr. Shalabh Gupta, sir, the National Chairman for IMA Medical Students Network, to address the audience. Sir.
Thank you, Madam Gautami. So good evening to all. And it's my proud privilege that we got associated with Lung Care Foundation. And this is being governed by two great people. Dr. Arvind Kumar, sir, who is our mentor. He has been at AIMS as the HOD, and now he is a robotic surgeon of lung transplantation he's been doing. And he's very, very keen in improving the air quality of India. Along with him is Mr. Rajiv Khurana, sir. He's also a very senior person, and he will be giving his talk, and you will eventually know that how well he explains the things, and you will be mesmerized by his talk also. And along with me, my convener of IMA MSN is there, Dr. Akshay Yadav. He has been a pillar of strength for MSN. And Dr. Arvind sir, we have grown this Society of Medical Student Networks pan-India as the medical colleges are coming up. Now we have crossed 700 medical colleges. So our membership has gone to more than 13,000, and we are progressing daily with somewhere around 200 and 300 members joining daily, because on regular basis our membership strength is going on. So our members will be are all MBBS student till interns, and they will be all helping with this noble cause, because under this whole climate change we are reeling with so many air purifiers suddenly has come up in our homes, but it is not helping us much. And today I happened to be, I went to Bridge Ghat, this Gadganga. So I traveled across for almost 70 kilometers at 7 a.m. in the morning. But throughout the stretch, it was so foggy and it was very, very disturbing, because even at Gangaji, it was hardly, visibility was not that much. Whereas the winters have not set in toto, but still the air quality was really very bad. So this is the thing. My compliments to Dr. Abul Hassan. He has been a chairman of JDN, and he has played a pivotal role in uplifting the medical student network. First of all, now he has been upgraded to the responsibility of the junior doctor network, but he's still looking after the MSN, because I know many of the times he involves so many MSN students. So these two associations like MSN and JDN are basically bhai. So there is no difference. So we are going together, sir. So thank you very much for inviting me, and we are patiently and eagerly waiting for both the national leaders to listen to their talks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Akshay Yadav, sir, the National Convener for IMA MSN, to please address the audience.
First of all, I apologize. I was in another meeting of Indian Medical Association, so sorry, sir, for that. And with our today's guest of honors, Abul Hassan sir, Shalabh Gupta sir, both are a source of motivation and inspiration for all the JDN and MSN members all across the India, across the country. And thank you so much, sir, for always being there for us, both the sirs. And then Indranil and Gautami are there, the National Council members from Maharashtra State. So thank you everyone for organizing this. And sir, let me tell you that air pollution is very close. This topic is very close to my heart, and I have been organizing along with Indranil and Gautami various Green Diwali campaigns since my MSN days, medical students days. And we used to tell them that instead of bursting crackers, we should burst hunger. And we used to collect money of from which they will buy crackers. We used to collect those money and donate it to some old age home or orphanages, so that they can buy some rice or wheat or grains for them. So I'm very eagerly waiting for your talk, Arvind sir as well as Rajiv sir. Thank you so much for addressing the session, addressing everyone on this topic. And over to you, Gautami. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So now with this background, we move on to this session, which is on a very pertinent topic plaguing all of us city dwellers pertinently, and that is air pollution and its relation with climate crisis. With the air quality indices perennially over 100, causing multitudes of illnesses, it is high time for us doctors to take charge, and that's precisely what we are here to learn in this webinar, which is aptly titled Air Pollution and Climate Crisis, Time for Us Doctors to Take Charge. Before I introduce our speaker for the event, I would like to request the audiences to please feel free to use the comment section that they have to ask any question during the session should they have any. And now, without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker for the event, Dr. Arvind Kumar sir. Sir is a thoracic robotic surgeon and the director of Institute of Robotic Surgery at the Gangaram Hospital in Delhi. He is the founder and managing trustee of the Lung Care Foundation and a recipient of the prestigious Dr. B.C. Roy Award, and also the National Secretary for the Association for Surgeons India. Without any further ado, I hand over the stage to you, sir, to begin the session.
My dear fellow students from across the country, first of all, a very, very warm good evening to all of you. And before we move further, let me take this opportunity to wish you lakh vadhaiyan for the Guru Parab. It's a very auspicious day today because nearly 550 years ago, the founder of the Sikh Panth, Guru Nanak, was born today. And it's a very, very holy, pious, auspicious day. And it's good that we are having this seminar on his birthday. So I remember him, I pay my respect to him, and I congratulate all of you on this pious day. Secondly, it's my very pleasant and humble duty to thank Dr. Abul Hassan, Dr. Shalab, Dr. Indranil, Dr. Gautami, Dr. Akshay, and all others who are associated with the Junior Doctors Network as well as Medical Students Network for giving this opportunity to Lung Care Foundation, myself and my colleague Rajiv Khurana, to be with all of you, the medical students from across the country. Thank you, Shalab. Thank you, Abul sir. Thank you, Indranilji. Thank you, Shashank. Thank you, Gautami. And thank you, Akshay. This webinar holds a lot of importance as far as we are concerned. The medical students have the power to spread this kind of a movement across the country. And I think it's a very, very important event in the calendar of anti-pollution or movement, or if I may use the word, movement towards clean air. So once again, thanks to Junior Doctors Network and Medical Students Network for this very kind opportunity. As has been told, air pollution is a serious issue. And unfortunately, there are a lot of misconceptions which are associated with this. Like people think that it's a problem present. Indranil, is my slide visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So a lot of people think that it's a problem present only in Delhi. Some think it's a problem only in North India. A lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I include most of the doctors across the country because I have traveled across the country, interacted with doctors, and I'm amazed how little is known about the extent and severity of damage which air pollution and climate crisis are causing to our present and future generations, and how serious these problems are going to be in times to come. Unfortunately, for the last over 25 years, air pollution has been treated as a chemical issue or an environmental issue. And people have said, oh, this is a matter of chemicals, whether CO2 is this much or CO2 is that much or sulfur dioxide is less or more. Why should we be bothered? It is for the environmentalists. It is only for the last 6-7 years that we have been constantly hammering this fact from all available forums across the country that no, friends, it's not a chemical issue, it's not an environmental issue, it is a pure health issue which affects everyone who breathes. In fact, as I would discuss, it starts affecting even before we start breathing. And therefore, it is only logical that we, the medical people, should be in the forefront of leading this fight, taking this information to people. It's our bounden duty to tell 140 crore people of our country that, look, brothers and sisters, it's not an environmental issue, it's a health issue. If you care for your health, if you care for your children's health, there is no way that you can ignore this issue. So that's the purpose of this talk today, to share with you perspectives about how serious, how major a health problem it is, how much it is affecting, and what we can do. So I will be talking mainly about the health ill effects of air pollution and climate change. And after that, my colleague Rajiv, he will be taking you through the actions that we as doctors can take. And let me tell you, if all of us across 700 medical colleges in the country become obsessed with this topic, that no, it's a question of our future, our children's future, we cannot afford to ignore it, we've got to do something about it, trust me, the change will start coming from tomorrow. I have that much conviction, and that's the reason I'm here talking to you about this issue. So let's start by putting a question. Does air pollution impact health at all? And the answer is there in front of you. Yes, it is primarily a health issue. When I started making this talk, instead of narration just like that, I thought, let me put some pertinent questions before you and then answer that question so that we can remember. And there are 8 questions. At what age does the air pollution start affecting us? What happens at birth? What happens during childhood? Which organs are affected? What diseases are caused in various organs? Does it only cause disease or does it kill us prematurely also? What is the magnitude of the impact of this air pollution problem? And what are the economic impacts of doing something about it or not doing something about it? So the most stunning, most startling fact which came to my knowledge about 5 years back when I was going deep diving in this topic was that it does not wait for us to be born. It starts impacting us even before we are born. As a pregnant lady breathes toxic air, polluted air, the pollutants go inside the lungs. The particulate matter, the chemicals, they get absorbed from our lung parenchyma, go into the blood, and from the placenta, that those chemicals now have been found in placental tissue and in fetal blood, and they start impacting. So if it's first trimester, they cause whole lot of congenital abnormalities, and in second and third trimester, they cause growth retardation. So congenital abnormalities, intrauterine growth retardation, intrauterine death, premature delivery, and a whole lot of perinatal problems are now well described. So first fact, it starts hurting us even before we are born. And what happens at birth? When a newborn takes his or her first breath, he doesn't get some imported air or only oxygen. Oxygen may be given for a few hours. After that, the child breathes the same air. And there is a conversion formula which says that 22 microgram of 2 PM 2.5 in terms of damage to the human body, it's equal to 1 cigarette. So if your PM 2.5 is 220, which is the average across the country, most of the time, it's equal to smoking 10 cigarettes. So friends, you can imagine if a newborn is born in a city with PM 2.5 more than 200, that newborn will become smoker because he will have damage equal to 10 cigarettes from the first day of his life. So we heard before you are born, you are hurt the moment you start breathing. And that's why I dare say that there is no non-smoker in a polluted city, because breathing polluted air is akin to smoking. Same cancer causing chemicals which are there in a cigarette or BD smoke, the same chemicals are present in the polluted, and no wonder WHO has labeled polluted air as a class 1 carcinogen. It's a fact which WHO has also accepted. Now the child growth. So what happens during childhood? There is enough data from across the world, and more so from the developing countries, that it's one of the commonest causes of childhood illnesses, including pneumonia and pneumonia deaths. There is the prevalence may vary according to the place and according to the level of exposure. We all think that pollution is a city-centric problem, but it occurs as much in villages also, where it occurs because of the indoor burning of the fossil fuels, which is all very, very high levels of PM 2.5 are there. And this leads to stunted growth in children. This leads to a whole lot of lung and other problem. You can see this small child who's standing next to a chula, and in this air which comes out of the chulha, the PM 2.5 levels may be as high as 20,000. Studies by Dr. Salvi from Pune has shown that. And that air is breathed by this child. You can imagine the amount of damage it causes to the lung. So huge number of childhood diseases which we see, and which all of you will be seeing when you do your PSM postings in rural areas. Those are children affected by indoor air pollution. Oftentimes people ask me, sir, kaun se, which organs are affected? And I show them this picture that only these organs are affected. Friends, you can see from brain to reproductive organs, there is no organ in the body which escapes. Of course, the portal of entry is liver, is lung, and therefore the lung bears the brunt of the attack. This is something I've been seeing for 30 years as a chest surgeon. This is the photo. I do mostly thoracoscopic VAT surgery. So during VAT surgery, this is the kind of pink lungs that we ceased to see 25, 30 years ago. But these days, even in so-called non-smokers, this is the kind of lung I see every day. And I've seen 3 of these since morning today itself. And when you have smoking also added on top of that, this is how it's low. So you can see how without smoking, this pristine pink lung is changing into this kind of lung. So this is the kind of silent damage which is occurring inside our body. Unfortunately, we can't peep in and see what's happening. But as a chest surgeon, I have access to this. I see it every day. And that's why I want to share this picture. And I'll be very happy to share this PowerPoint presentation with Dr. Shalap, so that this can be given to each and every medical student across the country. And I would request all of you to give these presentations to your colleagues, to your people in all cities, colleges across the country, because this picture needs to reach each of the 140 crore people in our country, that look, this is what air pollution is doing to you. So what diseases it causes? From allergy, asthma, COPD, emphysema, tuberculosis to lung cancer. Whole lot of diseases are caused. Lung cancer, I want to show you this personal data of mine. I started doing lung cancer surgery in All India Institute, New Delhi in 1988 when I joined as a consultant there. And then in 2018, when I was at Gangaram, I again analyzed my data. Just see the stark contrast. On the left-hand side, in 88, more than 90% of my lung cancer patients were smokers, very few non-smokers. Now, the data is 50% of the patients are non-smokers. 50% so-called non-smokers. So why are they getting lung cancer? Because they are not true non-smokers, they are so-called non-smokers. They are getting the toxins from the polluted air. The average age for lung cancer at that time was 50s and 60s, and now most of patients are in 40s, 10% of the patients are in 30s, and my youngest patient was 24 years old. Very few women at that time, and now 40% of them are women from non-smoking families with non-smoker. So this is the kind of massive change I have seen in my short 35 years of clinical work. And this is what is reflected in data from all cancer centers. So now differentiation between smoker, non-smoker is gone. So lung bears the brunt of the attack, but that's not the end of the story. These chemicals act on blood vessels. They cause premature hypertension in children. In adults, they cause again hypertension, arrhythmia, but most important is myocardial infarction. It's a proof fact that every time there is a spike in levels of pollution, there is an increased incidence of MI reported by all casualties from across the country, which happens about a week or 10 days later. So there are a whole lot of cardiovascular problems and mortality which occurs due to air pollution. Unfortunately, when people come to casualty and die of heart attack, they are declared as cause of death is heart attack, but the contributing factor was air pollution, which is never reflected in the data. Same way, in brain also, in children, these chemicals go to the meninges and the brain and cause neuroinflammation. That's the reason why we are seeing children to be so hyperactive these days. And more importantly, in adults, it is one of the biggest contributing factors to stroke. And like heart attack, stroke also occurs with higher incidence after these kind of things. There is data now which has shown that children born and brought up in polluted cities have low, reduced cognitive development, and in the elderly, the aging process sets in faster in these places. But the most frightening is recent data which says that diabetes also occurs because of long-term exposure to air pollution, because these particles get deposited in pancreas, cause pancreatic inflammation, which affects insulin metabolism. And now there is data to show that obesity also is related to air pollution. We, Lung Care Foundation itself, did a study in about 1,100 school children in Delhi between 11 to 14 years age group, and we found about 40% of the children in that age group to be either overweight or obese. And that was mainly because of their exposure to air pollution. And these children in turn had a much higher chance of developing asthma, as is also known from other studies. So obesity in children, hypertension in children, diabetes in children, all three are now related to exposure to air pollution. We all know that redness, burning sensation, watering, itching, etc., etc., the dry eye syndrome always happens whenever there is pollution. You are always rubbing your eyes all the time. The skin becomes dry, the hair becomes coarse, the moisture is lost, and all kinds of skin allergies, rashes, wrinkles, etc., etc., are known. So these are the various. In addition, because time is short, so I cannot go into every organ system. Even reproductive organs are affected, decreased libido, decreased reproductive ability. All these are described. And mind you, friends, when I'm telling all this is not my personal data or my personal experience. I'm quoting from the literature. Of course, the lung color change is something I have myself witnessed, and I've cross-checked it with my colleagues from cancer centers across the country, and they all testified to having the same finding. All of us who breathe are affected, but the ones who are most affected are the unborn babies, pregnant mothers, the children, because they are growing, they breathe faster, they run a lot, and their tissues are still growing, so they are more vulnerable to the effects of chemicals as compared to adults whose tissues are already grown. And same way, elderly people are also more prone because their immunity is discrete. So we know now that it causes a whole lot of disease spectrum, but does it kill us prematurely also? Again, WHO has released enough data to say that nearly 7 million people are losing their lives prematurely every year. In fact, there is now data to prove that air pollution every year causes more deaths than the COVID caused in its total pandemic period. So summarizing, I would say that in polluted cities, breathing kills. Friends, if all doctors can have a standee in their clinic which says in polluted cities, breathing kills, just this much of information, if it is supplied to 140 crore people across the country, it would set their mind thinking, oh, sir, breathing, we are alive because of breathing. How can the breathing kill? And from there, a dialogue will start. Now, people only talk of death, but I want to tell you how before death, it causes havoc with our health as well as our economy. So at the bottom is the normal population, and this is the magnitude of the impact on the vertical axis. So you have your normal population here. When it gets affected, so initially, because God has given us extra capacity in every organ, so initially there is a decline in lung function, lot of inflammation in all organs, cardiac effect, but there is no clinical manifestation. So this is a subclinical state which is affecting millions of people across the country, maybe everybody. As the increased impact is there, you start getting some respiratory symptoms, you start using some medicines, and therefore your visits to hospital start, which could be tens of thousands. And then you start visiting doctor, absence from work, again tens of thousands. Disease becomes more severe. You start paying visits to ER. You get admitted to hospital, initially ward, later on ICU, NIV, ventilator, etc., etc. And finally, there is death. So before you reach here, there's a lot of disease, disability, and time away from work of the patient and the family which takes place. And this leads to a huge economic loss because there is direct cost of treatment, there is indirect cost of man hours lost, lot of premature deaths, and all this is totally avoidable. International Monetary Fund made an estimate in a country like India, nearly 8% of the GDP might be getting lost because of the exposure to pressure. So I would summarize by saying that air pollution is a true health emergency. It's a national health emergency for us and all other countries, mainly in Asia and Africa, who have not yet gotten over this problem. It's a health emergency there also. Unfortunately, it's an invisible killer. A lot of people ask me, sir, if you say that air pollution kills more people than COVID did, then why is it not getting that kind of attention? The reason is COVID came, it killed immediately. COVID was declared as the cause of those deaths, and immediately the whole world said, oh, COVID is killing, COVID is killing. Air pollution does not kill directly. It causes these host of diseases from head to toe, and when people die in ER or in the wards, they are declared as having died because of that reason. So you died because of brain attack, you died because of heart attack, you died because of lung cancer. All those things occurred or supported or were caused or accelerated by air pollution. That does not get mentioned anywhere. There's only one case in the world, a girl called Ella in London who died at the age of 9 years because of accelerated asthma due to exposure to air pollution, where her mother went to the court and the court ordered the hospital that you write the cause of death as air pollution accelerated asthma leading to death. So there's only one case in the world where air pollution was mentioned as a cause of death. Otherwise, people die of consequences of exposure to air pollution without this culprit ever getting named in our discharge summary. So summarizing, what are the takeaways? Similarly, I focused on air pollution because I just wanted to give you a broad view of one topic. Climate crisis is the other coin of the same, other side of the same coin. Both are caused by the same agent, which is our fossil fuels. And that also is basically a problem of health of the people and health of the planet. So air pollution is something which is primarily affecting the people, and the climate crisis is something which is affecting the people as well as the planet. So air pollution and climate crisis are playing havoc with the health of the people and the health of the planet. It's actually the biggest health-based existential threat to both. And what is the cause? The cause is unrestricted use of fossil fuel, whether it is solid, whether it is liquid, or it is gas. It is the solid fossil fuels which are the cause, and the transition away from fossil fuels in all its forms across all sectors into renewable sources of energy is our only option. Trying to let the air be polluted and then trying to clean it like smoke towers or air purifiers, that's not going to work ever. It has not worked in any country, will not work in India. So therefore, preventing the air from getting polluted is the thing. So this transition should be immediate because it's hurting our present and future generation. This transition has to be major because if you do a little bit of cosmetic corrections, it's not going to work. This transition has to be effective. This transition must apply to all the haves as well as the have-nots. So it should be equitable, it should be just, so that entire population is covered and no one is left. And I feel that today's meeting is a major landmark in our country in the fight for clean air. When the medical students from across the country, they have the power to convert this into a nationwide movement. It's a historic opportunity if all of us can put our minds and energy together and take this information about pink lung and the black lung and the health consequences to people. I'm sure people will do what they need to do, and they will make the people in power do what they need to do. And when both do what they need to do, I think we will get what we deserve. And that is the gift of clean air. Thank you very much for your precious time. And I'm happy to share this presentation with Shalabh, who will then share it with all of you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insightful pearls of experience with such passion that I'm sure it must have resonated with all of the watching audiences. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the second speaker of the day, Mr. Rajiv Khurana, sir. He's an international management consultant and writer and the founder trustee for the Lung Care Foundation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege for me to speak after Dr. Arvind, and also listening to Dr. Abdul Hassan, Dr. Shalabh, Dr. Indranil, and Gautami, thank you for conducting it. And Akshay, thank you for the good start. We have a question before us. Where are we heading? Are we heading for a good earth, or are we creating an earth? And it is our leadership in question as of today, because we are at the crossroads. And collectively, we can definitely create the future which Dr. Arvind has been talking about for all these years. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to talk about the challenge before us, as well as the kind of actions we all can take collectively, especially the doctors, in the next 10 minutes of my conversation with you. In fact, if you really think in terms of what's happening in India as of today, people still have limited awareness. Even when we interact with doctors and the kind of impact Dr. Arvind has been talking about, most of them are not even aware of that. Second, people think air pollution is a government responsibility. Why do we need to really work on it? Third, some people, especially the youngsters, are now reluctantly accepting that, okay, we need to do something about it. But then the dilemma all across India is making a living becomes more important than life itself. Few years back, Dr. Arvind and I, we had gone to sign an MOU with a mining body in India who were doing research, and they told us that in open cast mines in India, the average age of people working there is just 42 years. Now that's a big challenge. But then we are grateful that at least today's youth is increasingly becoming conscious. And youth who are professional in their domain, especially the doctors, are taking up this responsibility with much more gusto. And today being a very pious day, Gurpurav, I think we need to actually have a rethink in terms of how we can accelerate our pace of execution. Baba Nanak had once said, Pavan Guru Pani Pita, Mata Dharti Mahant. Air is like Guru, Father is like water, and the earth is like Mother. And we have collective responsibility to look after them. My friends, but we have the challenge in front of us because of our own short-sightedness. And we must understand that these figures, you must be very clear about it. God gave us two things absolutely free. First, water. When we were kids, we used to drink water from the tap directly, and perhaps nothing happened. But today, we don't mind buying a bottle of 10 bucks or 20 bucks, or if we go to a PVR cinema, 150 bucks. But do you know the collective business of packaged drinking water in 2021 was 349 US billion dollars. Multiply that with 85 and you will get to know. And then oxygen also was given to us by God absolutely free. But during COVID, we knew the price. But then if you think in terms of the lifestyle, few years back in Delhi, in one of the malls, a restaurant said, oh, you know, we are going to be selling oxygen at a very reasonable price. You can come and enjoy pure oxygen for 15 minutes at 299 rupees plus the GST. And I started doing my calculations. I said, if there is a family of 4 people at constant price, if they were to buy this oxygen, how much money will they have to spend for 80 years of living? And I discovered that they will have to pay 335 crores, 26 lakhs, 27,200 rupees. Are you going to earn so much of money as doctors? Or will somebody earn that much of money to buy oxygen, which God has gifted us free? And we must have it in absolute clean form? No. These are frauds on us. A fraud which happened and the Supreme Court had to stop it was smoke tower. One sample was created in Delhi at a cost of 20 crores with a promise that it will work in 500 square meter area. And I did my calculation that Delhi has 1,484 square kilometers. So if we have to plant smoke towers all across Delhi, we would need 59,360 crores, plus the cost of land, plus the cost of operations. And you'll be surprised, I was absolutely wrong in my calculations. Because recently, a report says Delhi, and this is IIT Mumbai, 47,229 smoke towers would be needed in Delhi itself. Now you can start calculating for wherever you are staying, in whichever city you are. And that would need 11 lakhs 80,725 crores as per the statement by IIT Mumbai. Plus, of course, the operation cost of 1,13,349.60 crores per year to operate it. If these are not the challenges, then what are the challenges? Dr. Arvind has talked about the health aspect, but then you will have absolute hold pockets, because where are you going to get all this money for? So the question is, what do we need to do as doctors? I wanted to give you these shocking figures because at the end of the day, money matters. So now let's think in terms of what could be the role we could be playing as youth. Fortunately, in India, in between the age bracket of 15 to 29, there are 34.33% population amounting to 450 million youth, 45 crores. And if they don't take up the responsibility, I'm sorry, expecting it from younger children or oldies, I think we will be actually confused in terms of what kind of a future Dr. Arvind is talking about in terms of clean air. So as doctors, we need to think in terms of what could be our role. And I'm going to share only 7 words with you, the 7 responsibilities. And 7 is very important for all of us. In fact, if you raise your right hand and look at your right hand, number 7 is printed on your hand. It's your responsibility. 7 फेरे लेने पड़ते हैं शादी करने के लिए हिंदुइज्म में. 7 का अपना महत्व है. But this 7 is in your hand. So what are these 7 roles that we all need to play as doctors? Let's understand that very quickly. The first role is that of an observer. We need to learn first. What Dr. Arvind has shared with you, maybe you need to do more research, consolidate on these learning before we think in terms of bringing about any change. I'll be moving faster. The second role that we have is of a researcher. Go and grow into depth. If you are still studying in college, talk to your professors. And in case they don't have the answer, Professor Google has all the answers. Search for it. And check our website also. A lot of material would be available. Listen to all the videos of expert doctors from all across India on our YouTube site. And you will find so much of information which can enrich you. And then expand your macro perspective with micro realities of wherever you are staying. The next point is we need to also act as distinguisher. We need to distinguish between what is the right information and what is the wrong information, because you also know that Google throws up so much of information which actually confuses people a lot. So therefore, you need to help them distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. And therefore, the myths which go around, myth busting is definitely going to be your role and responsibility. The next alphabet for you is you need to be a communicator. You need to empathize with people, get into their steps, understand their language, understand their emotions, and then communicate. Because empathy is getting into the shoes of the other person, thinking and feeling like the other person, and thereby communicating to them in a language which they easily understand. So therefore, you need to write clearly to them. You need to speak in language which is very simple. And of course, whenever they get confused, you are their role model. You need to be their teacher. You need to be the teacher also for the medical support which is provided to the patient from within the family. You need to educate the patients also. And of course, the attendants who come along with, and the general public. The nursing staff and the other staff also needs your help in clarifying a lot of stuff, because they may not be in a position to distinguish so much, which Dr. Arvind shared with you with such fine details. And of course, you need to be an organizer. Organizer to have the right community reach, so that in your areas, you could tell people with authority, and this community could be also the schools and colleges. It could also be the WhatsApp community where you could put in the right stuff, not just the forwarded stuff, but your own clarifications on various things which people circulate without thinking. And of course, we conduct a lot of programs in various cities under the DFCA banner, which is Doctors for Clean Air and Climate Action. Join us immediately so that you would be also rubbing shoulders with best of the doctors in India, and of course, learning from them. In due course of time, you would also be teaching the upcoming doctors. And of course, the buddy talks. Your friends who missed out this session, just create a brief for them. And maybe This session, whatever you're learning from Dr. Arvind has been, put it on social media so that people can learn from you. And of course, when it comes to social media, you are the champions. But then make sure that there are meaningful forwards. Create your own blogs, shorter, you know, uh, memes also, blogging, your videos, your Insta creations, your reels, and preferably in non-English so that people in journal understand. And also, of course, not in high sounding medical terminology, because we need to include a larger number of people to explain to them very, very appropriately. And of course, these are the 7 points, mind it. These are the 7 roles and responsibilities you all have. You are the observer, you are the researcher, you are the distinguisher, you are the communicator, you are the teacher, you are the organizer, and you have the responsibility for social media. And mind it, if I were to reorganize these words, see what happens. This is the responsibility of the doctors, your responsibility. And I'm sure in times to come, you would be the best person to shoulder this responsibility phenomenally well. Thank you so much. It has been really delightful talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Keeping in a train of thoughts that we just discussed, we have a question from the audience. Can we take that, sir?
Sure, absolutely.
So this question is from Dr. Ashu Yadav. She asks, as we know that most air pollution comes from the industries, then why can't we stop directly from the big platforms?
So this notion that most pollution comes from industry is not right. The analysis of causes of pollution can vary from city to city, but 2 or 3 contributors are common across the country. A major part of the contribution is coming from vehicular traffic. I'm talking of cities, the outdoor air pollution in the cities. A major part is now coming from vehicular traffic, which can vary from 30% to 40%. A major contribution to pollution now, particularly the particulate matter, is dust coming from construction sites, coming from roadside dust, which is flying off, and from various other sources. Similarly, burnings, micro burnings, macro burnings, which happen across the country from a very small, in your street, the person from your municipality, he comes and sweeps, and all the garbage and all he collects in one corner of the street and puts it on fire. Such millions of fires from this to the crop burning in some of the states. These are all small fires which occur across the country, and they also contribute. And of course, the industry, and particularly our coal-based industries like our coal-based power plants. They are major contributors, and everybody has been crying hoarse that these have to be contained. But, it needs a solid political will to be able to that, because everything will ultimately need money. And people have thrown this answer, oh, if we were to do this, this will cost so much of money, we cannot afford that. But friends, and I want you to listen to this sentence carefully, the reality today is that there is alternative technology for all these available, and we have reached a price ratio where the cost of taking actions will be less than the cost of inaction. What needs to be conveyed to people is that air pollution is taking a heavy toll on our health, and that in turn is taking a heavy toll on our economy. So it's a health crisis, it's an economic crisis, and the cost of taking actions ultimately will be less than the cost of not taking actions.
Can I add something to what Dr. Arvind has said so very well? You see, it's very easy to say, let the government pass on an order and stop the industries. Fine, the government must do the job. And it is our responsibility to elect the right government so that they must do the job. But another dimension to that is the responsibility of people like us. If we also do not change our own living habits, a major portion will be there which will be unresolved. So all of us will have to do some corrective action. And therefore, from Lung Care Foundation platform, we keep saying, with you and your friends, let's think of area of 20 meters to 200 meters and do something there which you can collectively do. Don't think in terms of changing India in one go and then expecting others to change India in one go. That is not going to happen. What is going to happen is that if you and your friends and your family can bring in some change in the living habits, and also in 20 meters to 200 meters area where you live, you study, or you work, if you can bring about some change, let me tell you, your example would lead many more such examples, and the country will gradually change. The question is, are we also willing to take up our individual responsibility and collective responsibility?
Thank you so much, sir, for answering that question. As of now, we don't have any further questions in the comment box. So I request all the other panelists on the panel, if they have anything to say, please join in.
Dr.
Akshay,
Arvind
sir?
wishes to say something.
Yes,
Can I just
Arvind, sir.
add a few? So when you look at various sources of air pollution, you can actually summarize everything into two. One, which contributes smoke to the environment, and that smoke could be coming from any source, from vehicle to industry. And the other is what contributes dust to the environment. In Hindi, we call it dhua and dhul. The dhu. So dhua means smoke and dhul means dust. If each one of us, as Rajiv said, in a 20 meter to 200 meter area around of house, place of work, can do little bit to reduce the smoke or dust in that area, you would have done your contribution to reducing air pollution. And 140 crores such people taking these mini steps would start contributing to solution. Moreover, if all 140 crore people start demanding it, and that is the purpose of this seminar today, that let's create a movement across the country that clean air is a human right. And if we don't give, then we are being denied a human right. If there is a cry from 140 crore people across the country, everybody will respond and the needful will be done. Today, it is restricted to handful people talking about it. That's why it doesn't get the kind of attention it deserves. Thank you so much.
Sir,
Thank
I
you,
have a
sir.
question. Gautami, I have a question.
Yes, go on.
Sir, what are your views on the herbal cigarettes? Because now on many companies are promoting it as an alternative solution to the cigarettes. So what are your views on it?
Dr. Indranil, it's very nice that you raised this question because it's a very pertinent question. And I would answer not just herbal cigarettes, but also a very volatile topic of e-cigarettes and vaping. So let me, because time is short, so I need to just answer in one sentence. E-cigarettes, vaping, herbal cigarettes, these are all coming from absolutely unorganized, unchecked, unverified sector. There is no quality control there. And there are enough data in the literature to suggest that people are suffering more damages, long-term and short-term, by these than they used to suffer from smoking. So please let me summarize for all my fellow students from across the country. E-cigarettes are as bad as cigarettes. Vaping is as bad or even worse than cigarettes. And the same holds true for herbal cigarettes also. No smoking is the best option because each one of us is already a smoker.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any other questions from the panelists?
So I wanted to just have a little bit of insight for the benefit of the medical students. What two things they should start immediately doing in their medical college so that the environment around the medical college is better and it is more livable?
Absolutely brilliant question, sir. So two things we'll do. First of all, my presentation and Rajiv's presentation, we would share with all of you with a request that they may be shared with each one, even whether they were participated or not. If you have the email network, please share it with everyone across the country freely. Let sir, there is so much of, as Rajiv showed in his first slide, there's so much of lack of information. You know, I've been traveling across the country. You'll be surprised. I have met pulmonologists, I have met senior neurologists who said, well, does air pollution affect nervous system? Oh, I was not aware. So there is a lack of awareness that it's a serious health emergency. So if this slide set could be shared, and in case you have recorded this, you can actually share the entire presentation, because without the commentary, the slides may not actually make much meaning. My presentation, and more importantly, Rajiv presentation, the voice has to be there. So you're free to send this recording and request them to share it. As Rajiv said, they give a presentation amongst their peers, amongst their quality. So first step, if every medical student and junior doctor in the country can listen to this presentation, I think that in itself would be a absolutely gigantic achievement from this one workshop. That's one. Second thing, as Rajiv suggested, 20 feet to 20 meter or 200 meter area around your eyes. Just start looking, is there any contribution of dust, that is dhool, and any contribution of smoke, that is dhua. Just start looking around you, where is the dhool and where is the dhua, and suddenly you will realize, oh my God, there's so much of dhool and so much of dhua. Across industry, ultimately, if you break it down to brass tacks, it is dhool and dhua, the smoke and dust. And if we can do little bit to really reduce smoke and dust, it would be wonderful. And thirdly, if we can start reaching out to public, the people who are in a position to influence, the local politicians, the business groups, the municipality people, the political group, the press. So we have a presentation for the press also, because the questions which the press asks, each one of the medical student and junior doctor has the power to become a spokesman for the press on this issue. Start sharing these stories with the press people. Let every press person across the country start talking about it, start spreading. So what I'm saying is that if thousands of students across 700 medical colleges start lateral dissemination of this information into community, let this pink lung, black lung picture reach 140 crore Indians. Sir, you will see magic happening in no time. Trust me, I make this promise on this very pious day with blessings of Guru Nanak Ji, and I'm sure it will work out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sirs, we have another
Dr. Arvind,
question.
Dr. Abul Hassan Gautami, can I ask
Yes, sir.
Dr. Arvind?
Yes, sir. Go on. Yes, sir.
Sir, I am very much, excited about your last statement about using our medical student force and also junior doctors force to meet the public, to enter in deep into the society and create awareness. Can you suggest? I think I immediately developed an idea of going to the social media, where our people have a huge presence, and kind of edit and upload some videos and harmful effects of pollution and all. They can do it very well in social media, either Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. Can you suggest one step ahead, any other program in your mind where you can, there are a huge number of workforce is there in Amazon JDN today, where myself and Salab Gupta are leading, there, so that we can put them in the right direction, but because they are the one who are going to deal with the effects of this pollution. So can you suggest something bigger than the playing some bits in social media, kind of a national movement? You also said that in one day everywhere country, anything kind of big program for our boys to do that in this regard, sir.
Ji.
Let me respond. Dr. Hassan, you raised a very vital point in terms of every doctor becoming a social media leader to bring the right information for people. May I request you to do one simple step, everyone. First, visit our YouTube channel, Lung Care Foundation. You will get plethora of videos because first of all, that's going to enhance the learning of most of the medical professionals. And we are also attempting now to create such videos in multiple Indian languages. Once you grasp the whole thing, then think in terms of how do you disseminate it, because sharing it through various social media networks for you in your circle is going to be very, very easy. Incidentally, we have also used music as a way forward. For example, we have one song sung by a Bollywood singer, another song which is a rap on air pollution, which provides solution in terms of what to do. And recently, one school has also sung a kawali on air pollution. All this is available on our YouTube sites. We will send the link. Just click it and get a feel of it. And then, in case the doctors can create some of their own videos in any of the Indian languages, share those videos with us vis-a-vis air pollution and health. And I promise you that we will put it on the social media platform of our own so that this has a much wider and widespread reach. Because if we do a good job, it's time to promote and propagate so that more and people come to know of it, more and more people understand it appropriately. Because at Lung Care Foundation, we work through two very strong channels. One is with the doctors. We have 21 medical associations we are associated with, representing lakhs of doctors in India. When the doctors speak, people listen. And at the same time, we are working with the youth so that when the youngsters speak within the family, parents listen. And our young doctors have both the strengths. They are the doctors for the public, and then within their own community, within their own family, they have a major influence. And thirdly, we have now started addressing the journalists so that the media acts responsibly. We have all the documentations ready. We have all the examples ready. And in case you read our material and you want to give an interview to a media professional or a channel, just read it and you will get enough material to even speak with them. We will provide all the information. It is easily available on our site also. Or write to us, we will give you the complete package. Let's begin with that. And then if more and more requirement comes, rest assured, Dr. Arvind and I and the entire Lung Care Foundation team is totally committed in creating the right solutions for you. And maybe help us with multiple Indian languages also.
Definitely, sir. Today, I think we made a very good beginning in this direction. I have been associated with some other pollution control problems where, water pollution is involved. We have carried out, some activities represented to the government regarding that. The people also know easily reachable with the water pollution is concerned. Only thing is they are not still sensitive about this air pollution. Reaching people with air pollution a little, kind of tougher compared to water, because water pollution they see visibly that water is contaminated, water color is changed, something like that. But air, unless there is smoke visibly seen, they will not, understand or sense it, get
Sir,
perceive
let
that.
me just show you.
Uh,
Let me just show you a symbol that I'm wearing right now on my shirt.
yeah, I can
This,
see.
when we say I love Delhi, I love Trichy, I love Calcutta, we are saying I love my lungs. This is something which is an individual responsibility everyone will have to wear. Don't do things for others. Don't change India. Don't tackle the problem air pollution. We have to only tell people to love their lungs. And if that starts happening, I think we doctors would be in a position to create a much better and wider impact. So,
Very good, sir. Very good, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the collaboration is very vital, and definitely our members of JDN and also MSN will have it in their agenda as the most important one in the coming days or years to come, sir. So,
Sharnab, can I just add a
Yeah.
few points to what Dr. Abul, if time permits,
Yes,
because we
yes,
are.
sir. Of course, sir.
So, Dr. Abul, you raised a very pertinent issue about water pollution. You know, we hear these questions every day in every meeting. That's why I thought I'll answer. So there are few major differences. You know, water pollution, as you yourself said, when the water is polluted, it's visible, number one. And number two, if you drink polluted water, the effect of it is visible in less than an hour from one of the ends, upper end or lower end. You know, oh, this was polluted water, it hurts you. So from a villager to the most elite, everybody knows that water pollution hurts. But air, as you yourself very rightly said, air pollution nowadays is visible. Everybody says, oh, air is bad. But oftentimes during summer months, optical quality of air is good. So people think, oh, there is no air pollution. But when you check with a meter, you find that PM 2.5 is still more than 200, which is like 20 cigarettes or 10 cigarettes. So one is that there is a difference in perception. Unlike water pollution, air pollution does not cause effect immediately. It kills you slowly. And the third difference is if the water is polluted, suppose I go to a village and I find polluted water, I can wait up to 3 to 5 days that no, I'm not drinking till I get clean water, but I can survive. I have this luxury. Unfortunately, when it comes to air, we cannot wait for more than 3 minutes. Whether clean or polluted, you've got to breathe. If that was possible, not a single person would have died in Bhopal gas tragedy. Everybody would have stopped their breath, moved 200 miles away, and then start breathing. So that's a fundamental difference, that water pollution, bottled water can be, although it's a bad solution, but it can be a solution. But for air pollution, there is no such solution. Preventing the air from getting polluted is the only option.
Very well
And
said.
sir, you mentioned about some programs. So I just, as the last thing I'm sharing, that couple of years back, we did a program, Dr. Shalab is aware, where we got 5,000 students from 35 schools of Delhi collect in a stadium and form the largest human image of lung. So they collected, we made an image of a trachea, bronchus, and 2 lungs. And these children came and stood there. So they formed the largest human image of lung, which was a Guinness World Record we created in Delhi on 23rd of December 2017, which got international media attention. So if, maybe someday 700 medical colleges across the country could be creating a small record all together on the same day, which I think will shake the planet.
Right, sir. Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very well said, sir. Bhopal gas tragedy is actually that date is again going to come 2nd December. I think it was there.
Yes. 3rd December. 3rd December.
3rd December. Yeah. 3rd December.
Yeah.
So eventually we are also slowly progressing towards this kind
Absolutely.
of.
All of us are in Bhopal gas tragedy in a slow manner.
Yes. Some of the workshops we can have for the MSN and JDN, like poster making competitions and like a slogan making competition, just to create the awareness so that we don't lose the track at present by doing this webinar only. And then we can have some state-wise webinars also, where you
Sure.
can just give an insight, and Khurana sir also can give a insight about the whole problem, because many of the students may not have joined because of their exams or whatever
Sure,
the
sure,
reasons may
sure,
be there. But we can
sure.
have at least at the 6 state level also, we can have these programs. And in near future, this is the best time to make people aware, because all of us are reeling under the threat of this air pollution.
Sure.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very
Shalabh,
much.
you know
Even
that
in some
both Rajiv and myself, we are totally drowned in this topic. So 24/7, anytime, anywhere, any number of times, anything you want for this topic, we are there. We are just one phone call away.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you. And humble thanks to all of you for giving this wonderful opportunity to us. Dr. Abul Hassan, Shalabh, Indranil, Gautami, Akshay, each one of you deserves a big praise and thanks from all of us. Rajiv, myself, Shireen and Hamid and others, Abhishek and others, Carmen and others in Lung Care Foundation for this wonderful opportunity which you have given to us.
Sir, with us, Dr. Akshay Yadav is also there. He is the convener of the Medical Student
Yeah,
Network.
I mentioned Akshay's name.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I will request just if he wants to say some few lines, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity, and it was a wonderful session. And like Shalabh sir and Abul sir also pointed out, we can use the MSN and JDN force for this initiative, and I'm sure with the help of other MSN and JDN leaders, we can make small videos, sir, and we can also try to contact few celebrities, so that in case they mention us or they share our videos on their social media handles after adding their a small clip. So I think it will gain momentum, and the medical students will also try to register for this thing when they will come to know that their video is coming on some celebrities page. We can start with small celebrities, not going to directly towards the bigger ones. So we can, if through Lung Care Foundation we can approach few celebrities, sir. So we can make this Google form in which we can ask for videos from the medical students and JDN leaders, and then we can post it there. Just
So
a
we will
small
be
suggestion.
Gautami
ready to
is in
help
the
you.
right city.
Hmm.
Gautami is in the right city.
Yeah, in fact,
All
I am also there in
celebrities,
Mumbai, sir.
all,
Yeah.
Acha, you are also there.
Yeah,
So both
yes.
of you have only celebrities.
Yeah.
Our team from Lung Care Foundation, consisting of Hamid and Shireen, would be very happy to help you. You have to just ask for it, please.
Sure, sir, sure.
Definitely.
And thank you
sir.
for this opportunity, sir. Yeah. Over to you, Gautam.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for this extremely eye-opening session. We have one final question from the audience. Can we take that?
Yeah.
So this question is from Dr. Shashwat Singh, who is asking, he has read it in some newspaper that inhaling Delhi's air is equivalent to smoking about 30 cigarettes. And he wants to know if the city's air can be as harmful as a cigarette smoke.
So I think he missed out the slide. I said that 22 microgram of PM 2.5 is equal to 1 cigarette in terms of damage. So, you know, the PM 2.5 levels in the cities are not static. Today, Delhi may be 200, tomorrow it may be 400, day after tomorrow it may come down to 100. If it rains, it becomes even less than 50 immediately after rains. So how much of equivalent of cigarette is there? You just divide the PM 2.5 level by 22 and you will know how many cigarettes that inhabitants of that city are smoking every 24 hours.
It rained, in fact, couple of hours back in Delhi, and still we have an AQI of 411. So Delhi is still not out of danger.
So whenever
Since
Kejriwal,
Rajiv mentioned AQI, let me just clarify, because there's a lot of confusion amongst people about what is PM, what is 2.5. So we have two types of toxins. We have particulate matter, which is abbreviated as PM, PM10, 2.5, 1 or less than 1, depending on its micron size. And you have various gases. So these are the PM levels, PM10, 2.5, etc. And what is AQI? So AQI takes into consideration 6 parameters. So PM 2.5 is the major, chunk there. But other than PM 2.5, other toxins are also included. And there is a formula by which this value is created. So AQI more or less reflects the levels of PM 2.5, but is not the same as PM 2.5. It's a more inclusive value because it includes not only PM 2.5, but the other toxins also, which are also equally harmful. Got me?
Thank you, sir, for taking that question. I think we've answered a wide array of questions. I don't see any more questions in the comment session. So I think we can conclude the webinar for today. And it is my extreme pleasure to thank you, sir, Dr. Arvind Kumar, sir, and Mr. Rajiv Khurana, sir, for this extremely eye-opening session. I also thank IMA JDN and IMA MSN for making this session happen. I also thank the Lung Care Foundation for the extremely good work that they have been doing. And finally, Clarinet for providing the technical support. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in, and all the attendees for joining in, and have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you very much.
you.
God
Good
bless you all.
night.
Thank you,
you,
And
sir.
everyone.
thanks to Shashank from Clarinet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for extending us the option to host the session. I hope you had a seamless experience. With all due permission, I'm closing the session. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to host you.
Thank you.